The mindset of an investor. All right. The thing is that most people, on average, not investor specific, but most people on average are opinionated, right? They have their own opinions. They have their own way of seeing the world, their own viewpoint. So they make decisions based off of their viewpoint. The thing is, when it comes to investing, it's not about your viewpoint. That's where some people who try to get into investing, whatever it is, whether it be stocks or collectibles or real estate or whatever, right? They tend to go off their own viewpoint, as in their own opinions, right? They might see something that they think is like, you know what? Somebody would pay a lot of money for that, because they feel they would pay a lot of money for it. So they're projecting their opinions, their viewpoint upon their investment, which is not a great idea because you're not the one that's buying it, right? You're not the one that's buying your investment. You're the one that's you're the one that's investing in an investment, right? For the purpose to sell it to someone else. So you have to take into account your customer, or the final recipient of your investment, their point of view. So even if I think a certain car, like let's say Summer Limit, let's say I see a lot of value in Summer Limit, well, the rest of the community that plays this game don't see it that way. Their point of view is different. They might look at another card instead of Summer Limit. They might look into the idea of playing more summon negation cards. So instead of just playing the typical Solemn Strike and Warning, they also play Grand Horn, right? Maybe they'll even throw in Horn of Heaven or something, right? Or Black Horn of Heaven. So throw in more, Solemn Strike-ish type cards, and then hope that concept will give them an advantage. Like, for example, in link format, which is not untrue. You could use that strategy. But that's the point. Everyone else's viewpoint can be that. The most popular viewpoint could be, oh yeah, put more special summon negation counter traps. When you see it, you'll be like, well, some of them is good, it's continuous, it's a floodgate. But a lot of other players will be like, I just put in more counter traps, more, special summon negation counter traps for the link format, and then they'll just go with that. So because of that, even though you see great value in Summon Limit, like, I think Summon Limit is a really, really good card. I have play tested it, and I do use it in most of my decks. It's a really good card. Just because I see great value in it, because that's my viewpoint, doesn't mean everyone else will see the value in it. Or they will eventually see the value in it, but it'll probably be too late, you know what I mean? By the time people catch on to the fun and awesomeness of Summon Limit, it'll be already too late, So that's the thing, it's like you gotta be careful. I'm not saying don't invest at all from your point of view, you know what I mean? Because your point of view might be the same as the next person, right? Because it's about the majority, right? The majority rules in this type of scenario. If the majority of Yu-Gi-Oh players see value in Summon Limit, then therefore Summon Limit will gain value. Then there's the demand, and people got to supply, right? But if a lot of players don't see things your way and see it other ways, then something else will get popular. For example, there was when Summon Limit, Banning's Emptiness first came out, I already saw the immediate value of it. Me personally as a player, I had no problem with my opponent special summoning. You know what I mean? I don't care if my opponent's special, summon a Stardust Dragon. It wasn't a problem. It was relatively easy to get rid of Stardust Dragon anyway. Plus, I do like a little bit of challenge. I don't want my wins to be too easy. You know what I mean? I like to earn them. That's just me. But me letting my opponent make Stardust and then outplay him It's just the way I like to play. So I don't have to stop them from making their plays. I will let my opponent play Yu-Gi-Oh! Then I will beat them, of course, and there you go. And that's how I like to play. But there's other players there, don't have the same point of view as me, so they will want to play some Vanity Emptiness. But when Vanity Emptiness first came out, no one was jumping on that card like, oh, this is a staple, this is a must-have card or a side deck card, whatever. Not everybody overlooked it. I had a whole bunch of them. I had like at least 30 copies of them because they were just that easy for me to get at that time. Since no one really wanted them, a lot of people had them in bulk and just gladly traded to me. Even though I never used the card myself, and then when it was, hyped and everybody's like, oh, this is a great card, and, it was worth something, of course I sold mine off because I still didn't feel like I need to stop my opponent from special summoning. But I did see value in the card, therefore my value viewpoint was valid. But it was valid, like I saw value in it when it came out, right? Way before it actually was played. Well, when the rest of the community saw value in it, and that's the thing is, my viewpoint was ahead of the time, and that tends to happen. Like you might see value in something right now that will be seen as valuable maybe 3 years from now, and you're not trying to do long-term investment. You're trying to do short-term investments. You want a quick flip, but sometimes you gotta do the long-term investment thing, which is why it's a good idea that if you see value in something, hold on to it. Especially if you see yourself playing this game for 5 to 10 more years, yeah, hold on to those cards. Don't get rid of them. Save them in the tin somewhere, store them somewhere, and hold on to them. But on average, you want to invest in what people would invest in, and that can be hard. That can be hard to tell what will be popular, what will people want the most. You know what I mean? Instant Fusion is a good card, but until Northern came out, not many people cared too much for Instant Fusion. There was a couple players out there that played it. I know I played it for sure for years, but until Northern came out, it didn't become a sought out card. It was cheap at one point. Then it started getting a $5 value, and that's just a common. That's not including the higher rarity ones. Just a common Instant Fusion started growing in value. So that's the thing. Nowadays, commons are becoming money cards, becoming valuable, but that's because it takes time. So, like I was saying, the point of this video is to point out the fact that it's okay to make investments based off of your point of view, what you see being valuable, but think of them as your long-term investment because you see value does not mean everyone else will see it. You know what I mean? So, you see value in it, go ahead and invest, especially if it's cheap. That's the whole point of investing, is that you're trying to get stuff cheap, trying to get stuff before it grows in popularity. But at the same time, with some other investments, like try to divide your investments into long-term and short-term. Long-term is cards you see value in. Short-term should be what you have done some research and you kind of like pretty much almost like dead sure that it will be worth something in the next 2 to 3 months. Because you got to think about new products tend to come out every 3 months, right? Ban lists tend to come out every 3 months to 6 months nowadays. So you get the idea. It's like the game, changes periodically. So you got for short term, you got to think, 3 months ahead. It's like, all right, what is coming out in the next 3 months, and then invest into that. If a dinosaur structure that's coming out in the next 3 months, for example, hypothetical example, of course, because dinosaur structure that already came out. But you get the idea. You might invest into some dinosaur type cards. Some higher rarity ones, which are the most typical thing to do. But there could be some low rarity cards, like some commons, some supers, some rares that might go up in value because, there's not that many copies, especially if there's not that many reprints. The less reprints a card has, the better chance you have of that rarity, even if it's a low rarity, being worth something. Because if a card has a common rarity and then it has a super rarity, alright, well, super will be popular among some players, but even the common one can go up in value because there's only 2 printings, and it also depends how old the printings are. if the printings are 10 years old, there's a big chance that the common version of the card can go up in value as much as the super version. Because the super version could probably be like special edition promo, you know what I mean? But the common one was the original from the pack. So, whatever, right? And that's the end of the video for now.